Welcome back to Movies TV Man. Of course, you can follow me on Twitter at Movies TV Man, and welcome to Thursday's edition of the Doctor Who Daily. And today I'm asking, is Chris Chibnall reluctant to give away too much of the plot and show anything of his new series, whether it's season 11, season 12, season 13, and it'll be the same for the trilogy of specials as well. Now, season 11 did have some trailers, but they didn't really give away too much. But I think the BBC twisted his arm a little bit because it was a new Doctor and a new era. We had to be kind of convinced to watch. And I think the marketing push for season 11 worked. The marketing push for season 12 wasn't too bad, actually. It was quite exciting. But the marketing, or the lack thereof, of season 13 is staggering. Staggering to anyone who works in the industry. I understand the industry. I work in the industry on a lower level here in Cyprus. I write, direct and starring my own plays, so I understand how these things work, and I've been involved with television here in Cyprus as well. I'm developing the first English-speaking dramas here on Cypriot TV and a sitcom. Now, just quickly, I'll tell you what my sitcom's about. It's about 4 women, young women, married women in World War II. While their husbands are away, they're having the time of their lives, and that's what my sitcom's going to be called, and we're going to make it here in Cyprus. Anyway, moving on. So, it's very damaging, the lack of marketing for season 13, because Doctor Who's season 12 finished in very controversial style, as we've discussed yesterday. And so when you've upset people so much, and I think purposely they wanted to get the RTD, the Russell T Davies showrunner deal announced as soon as possible, hoping that might give some injection to the remainder of Chibnall's era. Look, I don't know. I don't know if people... I mean, how the RTD announcements made me feel is like, you know, Chibnall's never going to be my favourite Doctor Who showrunner, but I probably don't mind it as much as other people hate it. So I'm not as much of a hater of Chibnall's era as some people are, but I don't think it's a masterclass or anything like that. And I've obviously told you how I feel about the whole thing, and what the problems are, and what the positives are, and all of that. But when you've done what he's done by breaking Doctor Who canon, and we don't know officially if he has broken Doctor Who canon or if the Doctor in fact is the Timeless Child, that's something we've got to find out. But ultimately, when you've upset the fan base, the last thing you want to do is stick to this, I'm Chris Chibnall, I don't want to show anything, so I'm not. So in the old days, we didn't really have... Look, when I was growing up, we had like one movie trailer for a movie, and that's that, and some TV spots. There is this kind of fan expectation and arrogance. Where's our trailers? Why haven't we seen our trailers? And that does happen, especially with Doctor Who. You only have to go on Twitter, as I do. People are constantly complaining for the lack of marketing. I'm surprised that you're surprised about the lack of marketing. We all know that Chibnall is very good at keeping spoilers away. We know a few things, and a few images from, I think, SFX magazine have been leaked. I think I did see some images. By the way, they don't give away very much. There is actually a cool one of the Doctor, Yaz, and is it John? I can't remember the new stand-up comedian who's joined Doctor Who. But they're all standing by the doorway as it's in flight and the doors open. The Doctor is like shit scared, and Yaz has got her hands around her. I don't know if that means they're a couple now. We'll have to wait and see, and I'm not going to give an opinion on that because it's not worth it. It's something that's not important to me one way or the other. But Doctor Who in its future is important to me. I don't think today, in the way we have TV shows on streaming, and we talk about TV and film and entertainment all day on social media, you can have a showrunner that insists in not giving anything away whatsoever. Jesus Christ, if Tom Holland was his Doctor, he'd have a fucking nightmare, wouldn't he? I mean, he wouldn't be able to keep anything secret. He'd be fired after the first 5 minutes. But the point being, we're in a different environment now. Marketing is key. Social media is key. I personally think that the Doctor Who showrunner and the Doctor should be on social media. I think that's wrong, and it's done to protect them from the attacks they're going to get. And Stephen Moffat did have to come off of Twitter in the end because of some attacks. But ultimately, when Stephen Moffat was in his early pomp of Doctor Who, and he was on Twitter, and he's still on Instagram right now, really great Instagram he has, he's really fun. And he kind of replies, like RTD does, and likes some stuff and things like that. But the thing is, I think, as a Doctor Who showrunner and a person playing Doctor Who, you actually do need to be on social media. You need to have an affinity with the audience. So take this era of Doctor Who. It's not the most popular, we will say that, and maybe controversial for some people. I don't think it's controversial. I don't think the problem is controversy. I think the problem is blandness, by the way. And I think the narrative is too bland. I think the characters haven't been developed, and they're too bland, including Jodie Whittaker's Doctor. So I think that's the problem with Doctor Who. But I think this era could benefit from Chris Chibnall being on Twitter, answering fan questions. I mean, so what if they say, I don't like what you did? Explain it to them. You know, I'm the showrunner of Doctor Who. I'm sorry that you don't like what I'm doing. And just explain why he's doing what he's doing. But he's not that type of the guy. He's the type of guy, Chris Chibnall, who says this isn't a democracy. He's actually said that. And the truth is, no. Making TV and film and writing stories is not a democracy. Some creatives listen to fans more than others, and that's okay. Chris Chibnall is someone who lives in a, you know, probably a tall tower with bars on it, and kind of goes like that to the audience, throwing, you know, tomatoes and stones at the window. And if that's the way he wants to conduct himself, because what he's done really is, you know, he's created a them and us situation. Jodie's tried to thaw out the situation by saying, you know, Doctor Who's got great fans, and Doctor Who has a lot of great fans, and the toxic fans are in the minority, the ones who can't conduct themselves constructively. We know every fandom and every group of people has that. Even if you've got a group of friends, there's still a couple of toxic ones in your group. That's just the way it is. But I do feel that marketing is key, especially for Doctor Who. The marketing for Rose before the revival relaunched was so important. You know, I'm going to take you for a trip of a lifetime and all that stuff. Piper and Eccleston standing together in the new TARDIS, seeing the new TARDIS and the console, how beautiful it was. It was important. You shouldn't be keeping too many secrets. Of course, you don't want to reveal your plot. You don't want to reveal what you're doing with the Timeless Child or the story arc. But for example, this continuing story arc thing is exciting. But there should be a few hints to get people excited. This is why people like James Gunn are on social media, always talking, answering questions. They're the kind of people who are more successful these days. And Russell T Davies, right? That's the kind of guy, when he talks, you want to listen to him. As I said the other day, he sucks you in. But unfortunately, Chibnall was wrong for Doctor Who from the beginning. It's not enough to be a fan. That helps, because Doctor Who's one of these unique stories and characters where if you don't really know the Doctor or his universe, it's a bit difficult to kind of show run his universe. But you do need to be friendly. And Moffat got a bit like Chibnall near the end because so many people got on his back. I don't blame him. He came off of social media, and that also became a non-democracy. But in the start of his era, in the start when he was writing for the revival in season 1, there was a better relationship between him and the fans. And now he's gone from Doctor Who. Of course, you always miss. You always miss what you had when it's gone. And that's the same with Moffat. I really miss Stephen Moffat on Doctor Who. I hope RTD can give him a few episodes and some arcs and something to do for the 60th anniversary as well. I think that will be great. They're great mates. They get on. There's no reason if Stephen wants to do that, why he can't do that. And I think Stephen does want to do that. I would have loved the Doctor Who era where Moffat and Davies run this together, because I think they've both got a great vision. And I think they can work together, and Russell can home him in when he crosses the line. And Stephen gets carried away, not because he's a bad person, because his imagination runs away from him. He's so passionate about story and fantasy and escapism. I love the guy. I'm not saying that Chris Chibnall isn't passionate about these things or Doctor Who, but unfortunately this kind of uni student who's a bit unsociable, I mean, he probably would have made a great version of the Doctor. Maybe that's how Jodie's Doctor should have been. You know, Chris should have just made her like him. Although in a way she is bland and uninteresting and boring, so maybe she is based on Chris Chibnall. Sorry, Chris, I don't mean to be nasty to you. You haven't helped your reputation, Chris. I've said it before. I've stood up for Chris. Whether we like what he's done or not, as a showrunner, as a creative with a vision, he has every right to do what he wants to do. And that's fine. And whether it works or not, that's between him and the BBC. I believe he's been removed because it hasn't worked. It hasn't made the BBC the money. The ratings have been falling since episode 2, what was it called? The Ghost Monument in season 11. Ever since then, the ratings have been going down and down. It hasn't worked. I don't care about the Doctor being a woman and all of that shit. Doesn't bother me. That's not what we're talking about here. It's his creative choices. His creative choices for this show haven't worked for a commercial audience, for a mainstream audience. And it's very difficult because the people he's aiming for cannot hold up a show, an IP like Doctor Who. And I'm sorry about that, they're the facts. And when you go down this road as well, where you're saying, right, not much marketing, we're not going to show you much footage, that's a problem. And I think Chris and Jodie came off really well at Comic-Con at Home. Was it Comic-Con at Home? Whatever it was, right? I think they came off really well. When Chris talks to the public, he's great. He seems warm and excited and interesting. He's got a good sense of humour as well, Chris. So I'm surprised that he doesn't come to social media, that he doesn't try, and he shouldn't have to convince people, but at least show them that he's a warm human being, because Chris Chibnall is a warm human being. Anyone who's met him or knows him, he's a great guy, right? Whether you agree with his politics or the way he makes Doctor Who, he's a great guy. And very talented, by the way. Now, I haven't warmed to his version of Doctor Who, but I think elements are okay. And I'm intrigued to see how The Timeless Child finishes. But as I say, you can't be making one of the most popular, iconic, long-running shows in the world. You can't be making Doctor Who, Superman, Sherlock Holmes, or any of these iconic IPs and say, right, no, we're going to keep our distance, no, not much footage, not much marketing. So I don't think the lack of, well, there's two things it can be. The lack of marketing is either down to Chris Chibnall not wanting to show off too much, which I think is probably what it's more of, or the BBC simply just don't care about the Doctor Who Chris Chibnall era. It doesn't matter to them. They're focusing on the 60th and the Russell T Davies era. But I tell you what they will care about. The final run of the Chibnall era, because it's within the bicentennial year of the BBC. Big centennial celebrations in 2022. Doctor Who is a part of that. So they will be more interested in marketing that. So they may not be as interested in marketing this because they simply don't care. It doesn't make sense to me. Why wouldn't you market Doctor Who? Now, we've seen some things. We read about from Screen Rant the other day when the Doctor turns up and says, can you hear me? And I think yesterday there was it in Wales or somewhere, there was a picture of a spaceship or something they were trying to do. So a bit interesting, yeah. So they're trying to do things like that. But in terms of a big marketing push, they're not doing that. And one of the things is the fans, because the fans do speak out about these things, and you don't want people being negative about your marketing. Now, everyone complains about marketing for the IPs that they stand. You know, people said the Suicide Squad, James Gunn's The Suicide Squad, didn't have great marketing. I disagree. Maybe they could have had more. I agree with that. So no fan ever likes the marketing they get. But then when you look at a film like Man of Steel, they really over-marketed the shit out of that film. We literally saw every scene from that film in the end. And we had that, you know, that You Are Not Alone thing from Zod, which was actually brilliant marketing. So sometimes it's either one extreme or to the other. Either you can market too much or not market enough. Obviously, Doctor Who Series 13 hasn't been marketed nearly enough. We've had one trailer since Comic-Con at Home. We've had the thing with Jodie saying, can you hear me? Which was very exciting, but it's not enough. So it's not great marketing. Listen, people will come in for Doctor Who, but it will just be the people who have been coming in since Jodie has taken over the TARDIS. I don't expect many high ratings. I could be wrong. I hope Doctor Who gets big ratings. I always want Doctor Who to do well. I want Doctor Who to last for as long as possible. But I do feel her regeneration episode, if she gets a regeneration episode, will be big anyway. Now, this moving on from the marketing stuff, this is another question which we need to ask. Will Jodie Whittaker be the Doctor for the 60th anniversary, because I don't know if that's been clarified. Comment down below and let me know if it has or not. Or will they regenerate the Doctor and then the new Doctor will be part of the 60th anniversary special? I don't know. Surely Jodie will be the Doctor, but it looks like it could be what might happen is Jodie may still be the Doctor in the 60th. I don't think this will be a great move, considering she's not that much a popular of Doctor, but maybe with RTD's writing skills, he can really make that work and amp her up a bit. I don't know. I would imagine, and I don't know, maybe it will be Jodie Whittaker, and then they bring other versions of kind of the revival Doctors, maybe Colin Baker and Sylvester McCoy and people like that who are still alive from the classic era. Or they may just say, look, just regenerate her. We don't want her to be the main Doctor in the 60th. I must admit, I'm not sure how this is going to go. If it was me, it's a difficult one, because when is Chibnall's going after the specials? The specials are well before the 60th anniversary. The specials, the 60th anniversary celebrations are in 2023, the following year after next year, right? You don't need me to tell you when one year comes after the other. So I would imagine, and if it was me, I would be regenerating her next year and then launch that Doctor into the 60th anniversary special. That's what I would do. Are they going to do that, or are they going to do something different? Now, Piers Wenger's comments before Russell T Davies was announced as the new showrunner are ringing in my ear. He said it will be very different going forward. So I think you should, once Chibnall and Jodie finish off, you should expect some big Doctor Who shocking announcements. And I've told you what I think they're going to do. A multiverse strategy with multiple shows, with multiple versions of the Doctor that we know and love. And I think they will go in very, very different directions. And I think this is what they're going to do. So get ready for a brand new, really brave and bold era of Doctor Who. And personally, I think that's exactly what Doctor Who needs. This has been the Doctor Who Daily. I'm Mick, your host with the most. Just ask your girlfriends and your wives. Please like, share, subscribe, comment. Please hit that notification bell so you never miss this perfection. I'll be back tomorrow with even more Doctor Who Daily. Until then, goodbye.